So the interesting thing about religion, government, and a lot of other programs we deal with in our lives, institutions, if you will, is they each try to convince you that you are not capable. They'll use certain words to kind of beef you up, but in the end, it's like, let's take, for instance, religion. Even though, from a Christian viewpoint, in the Christian version, Protestant version of the Christian Bible, I should say, Jesus said something that if you believe the things I did, the miracles I did, if you believe these things, then you will do even greater things. He also said, the kingdom of God is within you. He wasn't telling you to project your focus into something out here. He wasn't, that wasn't what he was indicating. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, Drugs Anonymous, whatever, higher power. They take away from you, unfortunately, your own ability, and you're not allowed to give yourself enough credit for the things that you accomplish. You get congratulated. Thank you. Congratulations, Bob. You've gone 5 years without having a drink. And Bob's trained response is, I thank the power of God. Bob, you're wrong. You had the power the whole time. It was right here. Just like Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you. But all these, the government, religion, they thrive on human sacrifice. Have you noticed this? They thrive on this human sacrifice. We have idolized these hero, godlike, uniformed men and women. Some dress in blue, we call them police. Some dress in green, we call them military. But they all sacrifice. Without them, you can't do it. You've got to have them. They put their life on the line. They died for you. This stuff is indoctrinated in you so deeply. The Gentile, literalist version of the Bible convinces you that you were born in sin, that you're unworthy, that Jesus had to die for you. He had to spill his blood. You must partake of his blood because you're unworthy. Only by the grace of God, because you're not worthy. The grace of God. If God didn't have this wonderful grace, woe be unto you. But thanks to the grace of God, the loving kindness of God, as if you were a worthless, undeserving creature. And you believe that. And when you go through life believing all this stuff that's told to you, you'll never realize your own power. You'll never draw from within the energy that's there so that you can attract the things that you want. You'll never know for true freedom. There's no freedom in rules. Religion is about rules. Don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this. Government is about rules. Don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this. It's about rules. That's not freedom. Rules are not freedom. My background is in Christianity. My background is in theology and the Bible. And people don't understand, and the church does not teach, that when Jesus came along, he saw the failure of rules. And he, in his eloquence, or whoever wrote these words in their eloquence, said that the law was a tutor. We learned from this. But the laws are ineffective. The laws don't work. For thousands of years, the Israelites had a perfect set of laws from the hand of God. And it was their abject failure through the patriarchal system, through judges, through kings. They failed totally to live by this kind of rule. In America, Jesus came along and it's a principle. We have to change the heart. If we can't change the heart, the rules are useless. And this is This is the failure of the system. The United States of America incarcerates more people per capita than any other nation on this planet. We've got rules. We've got a legislative body. We've got Congress. We've got executive branch. We've got a judicial branch. We've got these rules. We keep making rules. Do this, don't do that. We've got rules. We've got punishment. But yet, the behavior doesn't change because we haven't changed the heart. The principle, the underlying principle that these laws are supposed to be based on, that principle is not being taught. So you go through life thinking that you need some outside force, whether it be some supernatural force out of the universe, or whether it be some physical force of a police or military or government to infringe upon you and control you, because you've been taught, I can't do it. I need help. Well, the help has been there all along. The energy you have, and I have, let's go through this. I went through this. I don't have it here. Everything, I'll find this, but everything that we deal with, we give power to. And that's a lot, we don't, I'm going to explain what I'm talking about here. Just bear with me a second. And I use this analogy, I was just yesterday. I try to do a live stream once a day. I don't always get through, but I do put forth an effort to be somewhat consistent doing the live stream. That's failing now. Where it is. I remember where I put it now. Right here. Okay, so let me load a couple of things here so I can continue with my little presentation and make my point. And I want to show you what I'm talking about. As you're told that you need this outside force, whether it be via religion, you've got to have this 2,000-year-old spilled blood of this sacrificial human being because you don't deserve, you're not qualified, you can't get it. It's only by some grace. Or whether the government's telling you that somebody had to lay down their lives, somebody sacrificed for your freedoms and that sort of thing. I'm going to use this very strong, in my opinion, analogy of where energy comes from, where power comes from. And let's start out with, okay, did I miss? Oh, here it is. Oh, man, I put it in the wrong place. Okay, maybe that's why I didn't see it. I put it in the wrong freaking place. I got to start all over. Sorry, folks. I was ill prepared for this little live stream here on this Saturday morning. But here we go. So I'm going to go ahead. So see, immediately that is going to draw some emotion of some sort. If you are a citizen of the United States, it's going to draw a different response than if you were probably a citizen of Iran or Iraq. Everybody's going to have a different view, but this is an inanimate object. This has no power in and of itself, but we humans have empowered it. You can be totally neutral when you see it. You can have no feeling at all, but that's hard to do because we've empowered it so much. This is another symbol, and it's just a fabric. It's just some shapes and colors on a piece of cloth. But we have energized it. We have empowered it. In and of itself, it has no power whatsoever. It is nothing. And so you've got two different sentiments that come from that visual right there, that nothing draws out very strong emotion in one of two ways, and they're conflicting emotions. This, for the most part, is a very negative. It's nothing. It's a shape. It's just colors and shape. It can do nothing for you. It can do nothing against you. In fact, if you're cold, you could wrap yourself up and stay warm. You could cover your head and protect yourself from rain. But what is the point? The point is that these objects, these shapes, these colors only have the power that you give to it. They in and of themselves did not energize themselves. They did not bring themselves to life. You brought them to life. Maybe not you individually, but over a course of time, humans gave these objects life and meaning. Otherwise, they are just nothing. Symbols, colors, they represent, it's just a representation of an emotion. And it is the same with government. Everything we do, you're trained to give power to these things. When you go to a ball game or some event of some sort, and they decide they want to do the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem, the music itself has no power except for the sound that reverberates, but the meaning, the real deep meaning, is what we've given to it. The real deep meaning that we associate with music that would fall in line with this image here is something that we gave meaning to. It's the same way with religion. It's the same way with police. It's the same way with government, with military. We empower. That's what we do. We empower. We give it energy. Even though there are alive humans that are filling these roles by putting on this uniform, immediately when we see that uniform, it gets a reaction of some emotion from us. The car of a certain color that has certain lights on the top of it, when you're speeding down the highway, is going to trigger some emotion. Either it's going to be, oh, thank God I'm doing the speed limit. Oh, thank God. Or, oh, God, am I going to get a ticket? That energy is what we've got. So what's the recipe? You get, and so we empower all these things. For thousands and thousands of years, we did not have birth records, marriage licenses, fishing licenses, hunting licenses, gun licenses. We didn't have all this stuff that now we got to go through. And you think you got freedom? No, we've empowered these pieces of paper. I do weddings. I'm going to do a wedding later today. Very small, intimate, because of coronavirus, COVID-19. We're going to be appropriately social distancing in a very, very small, intimate group of people outdoors to protect all of us. Weddings. So I was raised in this culture, and you probably were too, raised in this culture to where you were taught that you were some kind of a sinner if you were living with this person and sleeping with this person without having a license from the state to do so. Are you married and you're living with that whore? All of a sudden she's a whore because she's living with you without a piece of paper. So you got to go submit a piece of paper, sign a document, go to the government and say, here, can I now have sex with this person I love? That's what it is. And you're trained that way. Religion, they will kick you out of some churches if you are having sex or if you're living with someone that you didn't get that piece of paper. That state sanction that's how much power we give the state. You see what I'm saying? Even religion turns that power over to the state. All this is things that we give it. It really has nothing. That piece of paper is really, at the end of the day, is nothing except what we empower it to mean. It's only, everything is what we give it. This again is nothing. This again is nothing. All three of these are the same. But because the shapes are different, and maybe the colors are a little bit different, the design's a little bit different, we've made it something. We've empowered each of those images. We've empowered each of those pieces of cloth that otherwise are nothing. Nobody is going to get upset if you burn your shirt. Ooh, I got some nastiness on my shirt. I'm going to burn it. I'm going to go to the backyard and burn my shirt. Made of the same fabric that this is made of. Just a different color, different designs. I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm burning a piece of fabric. But God, in our society, if you were to burn this piece of cloth, they go crazy. The point of all this is that you are a creator. You have power over energy. You can give life to inanimate objects. We do it all the time. You can empower inanimate objects. The universe is full of energy. Some say that when we die, our energy goes. This is kind of where reincarnation comes into play, because your energy can go here and here. You can become part of a plant, part of a dog, part of a tree. Some say that hauntings are nothing but residual energy, because some great event took place here, something, and it gets in this loop, and it's just that energy is contained in that space, and it just keeps going over and over. Regardless of that, we know that the universe is filled with energy. We're still trying to determine what this dark matter is. This, what we see is void. What's that space between here and the moon? What's in this space? When we look out the vastness of the universe, there's all this dark matter. What is this dark matter? What fills this space? We know in the confines of the atmosphere of this planet we live on, we have an understanding of what fills this space between myself and the camera I'm looking at here. It's, we know there's oxygen. We have determined certain things here. But there's still that dark matter out there. There's so much that we don't understand. But on a very basic level, we do, and we should be able to realize that we do have the power. We do not need to reach out for this energy. We need to focus our energy on what we want, and we can empower, we can create, because it's the law of attraction, if you will, that you can set the stage like for this focus, if you are indeed interested in communicating with the dead, as they say, the ghost hunting. We go through a certain ritual to set the stage, to hopefully attract that, because we will turn the lights down low, we'll get our mind set, we'll focus on the energy that we're trying to attract. We go through this ritual because we've been trained that this is the way we do it. A few people will step outside the box and go a different route, but a lot of what we do is created not for what we're trying to accomplish. A lot of it's created for making it attractive to people that are spectators, our audience. Just like now, I'm sitting in front of this camera and I'm thinking about the people that's watching me and hearing me. Am I getting my point across? Am I making this entertaining enough? Am I whatever? Blah, 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 blah. And this is what happens when we start dealing with the so-called paranormal research, because then we become focused on how can I make this exciting? How can I make this flow a certain way? Because we're not looking for truth. What are we really seeking here? We're seeking to entertain. We're seeking to say, ooh, look what I caught. This is why the TV shows trim it down to just the exciting parts. Because anybody that has done anything like this know that you can go days and hours and weeks without capturing anything. But how in the world are these guys, every time they go out, they're getting, ooh, did you see that? That moved. Did you hear that? It's a constant. So the law of attraction works on energy. And we energize things around us, and we attract energy to us, and we exude energy from us. Some people are lively and exuberant. Other people are more laid back, and their energy is more sedate. And we immediately feel that energy when we walk into a place. You can feel when you come into a person's aura, you can feel their energy. You kind of get a sense of they're laid back. Or somebody that's just like this, you feel it. You feel the excitement, you just feel it. Because it's energy. And it's no different than what we get from seeing these images here. They each draw a certain emotion. So if my energy is going a certain way, then some people will be turned off by it, some people will be attracted to it, and then others may be affected totally neutrally to it. It doesn't take away from the fact that it's energy. It's just different types of energy. So there are things and experiments and things we don't understand. We set a stage. We have rituals to kind of manipulate energy, to draw out what we want. There have been books written. One of the first books I read as a young teen was by Norman Vincent Peale. Expect a miracle, make miracles happen. Make miracles happen. Interesting thing about that book, and it stuck with me for life, is that it wasn't just a matter of, dear God, I need a miracle. It was go into action, get the energy out there for that miracle, empower the universe to provide you that miracle. So this is where this, in part, this wishing machine that I did not create, I've only enhanced this wishing machine. And so it's a matter of manipulating energy. Just like we do with everything around us. Some people get into feng shui, or they believe that if I put this in this corner of the house facing the east or the southwest or whatever, that it draws certain things to it. It creates an atmosphere, it pulls certain energy. Some people swear by it. Other people think it's for crap. Each their own, but we all utilize this energy. If you go to church, you go through rituals. You sing, you sit, you pray, you bow your head, you raise your arms. There's certain things that you do to give you that feeling, that energy of this spirituality that just feels right to you, feels wholesome, feels good. It is a ritual. It's something that we designed to make us feel. And it doesn't work for everybody. It may work for you. It may not work for me. It may empower this person. It may not empower those people. But this is what takes place. The act of communion is a ritual. The Catholics call it transmutation. They say when the priest prays over, that cup of wine, it actually becomes the the real prophets. That's it. Yet see, you need to test it to see, to say, that's blood. That was wine a minute ago, and now it's blood. I don't think that test has ever been proof positive for it turning into blood. It's a psychological thing, and we draw energy from it, and some people need that. Some people seem to thrive on that. I still say that in religion, just like government, that you're not told, you're not educated, you're not encouraged to see what's within you. They always teach this codependence, the codependence of leaving this out. First of all, you got to come to church. You got to believe, you got to come to church. You got to believe, you got to come to church. And then plead with God. Believe in the church, plead with God. And then here's the rituals to go through. So we do every week. Come in, music starts, we say some prayers, we stand up, we hug each other, we sit down, soft music, 20-minute sermon, some more soft music, high skin, collection plate pass. You get the point. Well choreographed because it appeals to the emotion of these people. They have grown, and this ritual has been empowered 100%. So that people that do buy it, do believe it, feel this connection with sight. And I am taking away the power from these institutions, and I'm bringing it home to you, because you have the power. The tools that you use can be independently used outside of these institutions, and then you can yourself control, and you can do that. You don't have to support these institutions, because the institutions are all about rules. Rules, rules, rules. Government rules, rules. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And then church, religion, same thing. No, 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 no. Do this, do this, do this, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And your codependence. Somebody had died. Somebody sacrificed. The wishing machine. New and catchy version coming to you soon. In the meantime, remember, that's only got the power you give to it. That's only got the power you give to it. That's nothing. It only has the power you give to it. You know God is within you. You're use it.